Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Captain Pink, and I suppose this will be my first replay video. So, today, it's not especially that I have a good replay, but, I'm just here to explain my thought process in this game. I'm playing with Keeper Peter against Tom, Apex, and Wood. Most of you guys should be familiar with those names. I assume so, at least. Anyways, we'll let the game load. Okay. So first off, we have myself spawning here on the left side, Keeper spawning in the middle, Peter spawning on the hill, a very difficult place to hold. Then we have Wood spawning on a very, very difficult spot near the mountain to their right spawn, Tom in the middle, and Apex playing as Coalition, interestingly, in this game. He will be spawning on the left-hand side, so let us see. First of all, we have I'm assuming an economic opener from Tom. Wood actually plays very interestingly this game. He stays on 2 eco with production cruisers out sort of in a rush position, with himself never opening this 3rd eco, which he never really had the opportunity to, but you'll see that later on in the game. Apex going with economic opener as well, assuming that, yes, he is going with production cruiser first, or sorry, support cruiser first. Peter attempting to kill this probe with his production cruiser, which he is eventually successful at. We have me going for a rush. This game I will be going for an AS rush. I'm researching skimmers at the moment, producing a production cruiser for my 2nd production cruiser. PC rush. Keeper doing his normal build of opening up his 2nd, so moving on to his 3rd for his railspan build. Peter simply scouting at the moment with some sand skimmers, with Apex coming into the artifact extraction to try and get an artifact before everyone else. Interestingly, Wood already has his 2 production cruiser rush going. Meanwhile, I'm a little slow in the draw. Only started to research assault ships at the moment. My idea was to transition from assault ships directly into siege cruisers once the rush has died down, or if it hasn't died down, we'd probably be winning the game. But regardless, that was my plan. As you can see, Apex has been spotted going for this artifact with the skimmers from Peter, so he will get this artifact, and he will also be spotting Wood and his rush, although not the production cruisers, interestingly. So this forced me to come to the right and attempt to skirt around this rush and this probe, which has just been revealed by Peter's sand skimmers. This artifact will unfortunately get in, but that's not my purpose of the rush. My purpose of the rush is to prevent eco, these 2 eco, and hopefully Wood's 2nd. However, we'll see that that is not very successful by the end of this game. So, right now we see Wood attempting to kill my production cruiser. However, that will be prevented by my assault ships, which are popping out at the moment. Once they pop out, he will be forced off. However, putting a little bit of damage onto this assault ship, forcing me to pull it back, and forcing me to push another assault ship up as a way to tank. At the same time, continuously pumping out assault ships for the rush. Wood, interestingly, not going for railgun research yet, only going for sand skimmers to, I presume, counter Peter's sand skimmers. However, that will leave the entire center very much vulnerable to this AS rush, except for Tom. Tom has assault railguns, which he has been upgrading very diligently. As you can see, he's already on level 2 armor. Same could not be said about me. Well, actually, I have level 2 armor. That shouldn't come as a surprise. I played this game. Anyways, so right now, continuously pumping out assault ships, trying to get into this ditch right here. When you could get into this ditch with these assault ships, it is very, very hard to get rid of, because first of all, right here, there's no line of sight directly from this valley over here, and you can simply just dip your assault ships up, down, just kill this eco. As you can see, I'm killing one salvager, and then immediately attempting to bring it down. However, I do lose this one assault ship, which is miss my ground my heart. But some harassment coming in from the right-hand side with Lieutenant Morningwood. He's trying to kill this one PC I have here, which I do actually lose due to misplay. I try to go for Tom's second eco again, but I lose a production cruiser, forcing me to bring these assault ships back and bring this production cruiser up, and trying to see off this Sandstorm play. So Wood kind of made a misplay here. He should have just dove on this production cruiser. If he loses like a couple skimmers, that would be a completely even trade, probably more in the advantage actually. But now I attempt to split these into two different groups to try and target both of these eco in an effort to try and keep Tom out of the game. As you can see, I'm doing my dip down, come back out tactic, trying to prevent as much eco as I possibly could, almost killing this production cruiser, although I do not have the ability to, as it does have heavy railguns now. More assault railguns coming in from the right hand side, actually. He will kill this assault ship with those skimmers, but he will lose a lot of health onto those skimmers, probably lose a couple of them. I did not see if he did lose them, but he would lose a bunch in that engagement, and gain pretty much nothing from that. Right now, bringing my production cruisers back, while researching production cruiser refinery mode and siege cruiser fabrication for a seamless transition into siege cruisers. On the right hand side, we have Keeper somehow holding the line. He has gone for his railgun, AAV railgun build, just a classic railspan. Not going for a whole lot of power, but in fact having multiple base runners, just varying artifacts over and over, so he does have a relatively powered carrier at this point in the game. Bringing his AAVs back to try and prevent this massive sandskimmer blob coming in, while constantly producing more railguns to try and counteract this carrier right here, keeping it back, while keeping all these railguns over the back as well. His carriers also do work with his range systems and his turret. He will be holding on this hill for a good chunk of this game. Meanwhile, I'm still doing my thing down here, trying to prevent as much eco as I possibly could. As I've seen that Tom is mostly off of this eco, so I felt safe enough to bring my assault ships over to this side to try and kill these salvagers. So, in my mind, CUs are almost more important than RUs, which is why I tend to focus those salvagers. If you kill the CUs, they can't produce skimmers, they can't produce salvagers, they can't produce railguns. If you kill RU, well, it's not too big of a deal. And of course, dipping back down with the one that they're currently targeting, and just generally being a nuisance. At this point, my third production cruiser has popped out, but I hasn't realized yet. So I pulled it back to my first main eco, and I'm gonna bring my carrier out while producing some more assault ships to try and reinforce this front line. Furthermore, researching missile ship production. That way I have AA against any potential air, which we do see later on in the game, but that's still later on. Now over here, Keeper is very much holding the line against a lot of different things. Alongside Peter will be very instrumental in his defense because he does have these heavy railguns which are doing a lot of work against this railgun blob. However, this skimmer blob is going to come in and ruin a lot of things for us, honestly. But in the end, we still managed to hold the line. This rush, however, is mostly dead, so I'm trying to use the AoE to try and kill as many of these heavy railguns as I possibly could. That way I will weaken his heavy railgun force to my siege cruisers, which are coming in as we speak. Again, up here, we have the massive skimmer blob that Wood has produced. Peter, for some odd reason, he has brought his production cruisers up, which is very odd. But Wood is going to dive on the production cruiser and the heavy railguns, which Keeper has. Not a whole lot of good news, but Keeper is holding somehow with his power carrier. Now he has more artifacts on his carrier, so he has 4 power in his turrets and 3 in his range. I am continuously applying pressure as Tom is forced to move to the right hand side of the screen. I apply more pressure with my assault ships to try and get rid of some of this eco. However, I kind of noticed the ping over here, so I bring them over here to try and destroy Wood's eco, as it has mostly been undisturbed this game. Again, following up with these siege cruisers, which barrage right on Tom's second eco, the one that he's basically never had this game. Keeping this other siege cruiser mostly in reserve, so I can barrage something else if need be, which that something else is right here, that heavy railgun force, which Tom has just moved out of the way, but producing more siege cruisers to try and keep these siege cruisers coming so that this group never gets too big. However, I am kind of retreating because I realize that Tom is coming over. I do not have a big enough siege cruiser force to wipe out this immediately once I see it on my screen. And a big weakness of Kharak is you can't see anything, basically. So I'm pumping out some of these missile ships while simultaneously taking these assault ships that I've just produced back to the eco to try and curb this backstab, which Peter is going to use a production cruiser to, but it's going to get seen off by these assault ships, and Peter's Sandskin force. At this point, the barrage has recharged, so I'm barraging once again on top of these forces. Using my carrier missiles to try and hit some of these assault railguns, which are right here. Of course, you guys didn't see that stream of missiles, but we do see this stream. I kill one assault railgun, not a whole lot, but putting some damage on it, so forcing them to retreat. Bringing the siege cruiser over here to try and keep this area roughly secure. However, I do not see this force on the screen, so I'm bringing these assault ships back and bringing these assault ships over here to try and see off any other potential backstabs coming from this area. Push my carrier up further. At this point, I should be pushing my siege cruisers up furthermore. And we do have the airplay from Wood. Always a whole lot of fun to see. So at this point, I decide to ramp up the anti-aircraft production, which we don't exactly see that at the moment, but we do have a lot of AAs coming out on the field. At this point, I I try my best to research Power 5, but I simply don't have a CU and RU to do that yet. So I'm gonna push with Power 4 simply, and push up with Sand Skimmers. Meanwhile, on Keeper's side, he has, I believe, just taken a massive nuke. But he is still very much holding. As you can see by his sensor range, this is the range of his turrets on his carrier, and it's a, well, the range is, yeah, you can see the range. So he's going to push down with his carrier onto this massive railgun force, which I personally don't think is a good idea, but he's going to manage to do it somehow. Kudos to him. He does not have a nuke. Oh no, he does have a nuke ready now. Currently throwing his nuke down on some. Oh no, never mind, he's not. Meanwhile, we have Peter coming in back to try and stab some of these assault railguns, trying to get rid of them as soon as possible. Bringing my assault ships over. At this point, I started to use Sand Skimmers instead as a way to scout. As I hear the interceptors, the announcer calls for the interceptors, I bring my anti-aircraft up towards my siege cruisers, as I've mostly been neglecting that for a chunk of this game. Would try to scout with the Sand Skimmers, but that's going to get seen off by this siege cruiser right here, and this assault ship is going to come in and try and do a little bit more damage. Furthermore, I'm going to push this siege cruiser up a little bit to try and gain some ground, along with this one, and barraging right here, as I was expecting a much larger rail blob from Luke. Afterwards, barraging directly with this siege cruiser to try and kill all the siege cruisers, or all the Sand Skimmers, forgive me, for coming in. He loses a good chunk of those, but in the end, he's still in the game. At this point, I should have used this to barrage this eco, or this eco. I do not have the range upgrade siege cruisers yet, but that does not exactly matter, as these siege cruisers are close enough to their target that it's not really matter either. So right now, my siege cruisers are up to try and curb this LAB spam, along with some of this stuff, which is Tom's now favorite railgun build. Starting to barrage in this area, as I had seen these railguns moments before, using my missiles to try and kill some of these heavy railguns while they cop out. Keeper taking up this third eco that Apex has been trying his best to defend, but being unable to, is now been forced back onto his second and is made with this massive railgun force. He still maintains, which I'm very much surprised that Keeper hasn't nuked. But that's besides the point. And now, Peter coming in with some of his AA. He did lose all of his production cruisers to I believe an airspan, but at this point of the game, it's too late for them to really do anything. They're trying to ferry some artifacts, but we simply have too much. We have 4, they have 1. At this point, I sort of get scared off by this carrier, because I had assumed that Wound was powering it up. So all my siege cruisers had actually gone back. But now realizing that he is very weak, I start to push back up with my siege cruisers, and I do in fact win the game, simply because they surrendered after they see that there's literally no point in fighting. So in the end, yeah, that's basically how I played this game. I didn't. This is kind of pathetic, but anyway. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you guys next time, I suppose, if there is a next time. Anyways, good luck, everyone. I'd forgotten to put up the post-battle results screen, which you guys see now. Keeper with the most economy and with the most killed, obviously carrying the game because he's keeper, you know. Me coming in was second on our team, 77 units killed, and Peter doing his level best to throw away every single unit that he has with 101 deaths and 116 units built. Overall, it's a great performance from all 6 players, in my opinion. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.